Well, good morning. We are gathering for coffee with Casper in about 2 minutes. We're waiting to see what's happening here. I do not see us on Facebook yet, but you know, it happens. It happens. Here we go. Harry Morgan Moses is live now. There we are. So we're gathering. It's 8:28. We'll be ready to go here in a couple of minutes. Got our coffee right here. We'll bring up the Casper in a second to say hello. He's under my feet. Mountain is under my feet here too. Actually, Casper's over here making a scene, finding lizards or something. That's what he does. He's a busy boy. Well, welcome. We're in Idaho on a wilderness raft trip last week. Oh, wonderful. Welcome back. A raft trip. How exciting. Good morning from Oregon. Good morning from North Carolina. Good morning from Idaho. Glad to see you this morning. Welcome, welcome. Good morning. Everybody's enjoying their summer. I'm glad to see that that's happening in the midst of everything. That's the way it should be. Good, good, good. So we are glad you are here this morning. It's 8:29. All right, Casper, come say hello. Casper. Casper, come here. Come here. Come up. Attaboy. There's the Casper. We got our coffee. We got Casper. Here's a mountain down over here. There's the doggies. There's the doggies. Good morning, good morning. Good morning from Northern California. Good morning. Kitty Ken. We got a kitty watching you, Casper. We got dogs and cats this morning. All right, there it is. It's 8:30. We're glad you're here. Welcome, welcome to Coffee with Casper. It's Tuesday morning, it's 8:30. Let's give ourselves this 20 minutes just to see what we can reveal about making life richer in every way. More abundant, more fulfilling, more loving, more kind, more graceful. And all we have to do is shift our attention to that which is the Most High. That's what we're going to do together. So let's everybody take a deep breath in. Perhaps let out that sound, ah. Ah. Relaxing the shoulders, bringing the energy to your heart center. And just giving ourselves permission to be here present for these 20 minutes. There is something within us that knows and knows that it knows. There is something within us that knows the glory of the I am that I am. And we simply open to that glory. We allow it to move in us and as us and through us in all that is this morning and all that is this day. Well, a lot of world events are happening. Good to see you, Danielle. All right. Welcome, welcome. Let me know where you're at. Good morning from Hollywood. Good morning from Chino Valley, Arizona. Good morning from Hawaii. Good morning. Nice to see everybody this morning. So here we are. Obviously the world events are going on. We went right from the Olympics all of a sudden to the problems in Afghanistan and then Haiti. It goes on and on and on in a world that is changing, and in a world where that which is underneath, which is the misunderstanding or the non-alignment with unity, meaning there is a field of unity in which we are all a part. Everything is interrelated and interconnected. So there is really no such thing as a disconnected anything. Everything that's happening is involved with that which is happening in mind, but what's going on underneath is the rising up of a unity consciousness. Those of us who are watching Coffee with Casper, and we're certainly glad you're here, and we're glad you're spreading the word. Send this video wherever you can. Share it wherever you think it's valuable. But as we have a world that is awakening to the interconnection, that doesn't quite know about it, believes in separation, believes that that all things are separate. I'm separate, you're separate, this is separate, that's separate, when in truth all things emerge from the same field and all things return to the same field. Energy doesn't die, it changes form, and we are energy, and we are evolving energy because we are part and parcel of that which is Source itself, that which is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, and that whole seed, the seed of wholeness, is planted as you and me. And the revelation of that wholeness comes to us to the degree that we become conscious of it. How much are we aware of the interconnection of all life, and how much are we aware of the law of the circle? Meaning what's coming from me is rising up and returning to me, right? So in the world right now, we see a lot of what has been under the surface rising up. All of the separations, all of the fears, doubts, prejudices, angers, rages, disappointments, all of those things that get in our subconscious and sometimes are not tended to, and then they will rise up and surprise us. They'll come out of the blue. We'll be sometimes reacting to someone or some situation when that situation in the moment is not what's really going on. It's something else that's been touched from underneath, and it's been stirred up, and then it comes out sometimes in surprising ways, and usually in ways that are not harmonious. And that's simply because we're not paying attention to ourselves. We're not taking the time to move away from that external spinning, that external upsetness, that external fear, those things that are deep within us that we're not processing. And of course, the way to process it is to slow down, to do what we are doing right now, to take the 20 minutes, to calm ourselves, to be aware of our interconnection with life, to touch it, to actually go within and allow our heart to be touched by life, to be open to it, and to receive this brand new day as exactly what it is. As my friend Mary Morrissey used to say, a brand new baby day. And what are you going to do with this brand new baby day, as opposed to carrying what we had happening yesterday, or yesterday ended last night and we drag it into today, right? But today is a brand new day, and this is why we often say don't get out of bed until you can greet the day. Be aware that this is a new day. This is a chance to start fresh. This is a chance to take that breath of life, to allow it to come into our heart center, and decide how we're going to be in the day. What I certainly have noticed since the Olympics began is all of this, is Simone right? Is Simone wrong? Who's the champion? Who's not a champion? Who started it? Who did it? Who's to blame? All of those things fire up to our surface. And what I have found is that it has been a really good time to focus on the affirmation of peace. Peace within me, peace around me, peace moving through me, to become an instrument and an avenue of that which is peaceful, of that which is drawing from, not from the field of confusion, but from the field of perfect harmony, in which they exist all the time. The field of the confusion and the field of perfect harmony exist simultaneously, right? So it's a question of where we put our attention. Where my attention goes, my energy flows, yeah? So we are the ones who need to separate ourselves from the activity of the world, and that's why we mentioned last week, one needs to be mindful about how much news they're taking in. The world is changing. Every day something is happening. Every day there's going to be the focus on that which is scary, because that which is scary causes us to look again and to keep looking and keep looking. And of course, that's how the media makes money, is by getting your attention and having you watch the same thing over and over and over again. I mean, when we had a 20-year war, it doesn't end just because you say it's over. That's happening in the world. So to check every day to see how much turmoil and how much upsetness there is, and how much fear and doubt there is, and how much of the big problem humanity's inhumanity to itself. And we have to be the ones. You and I, as light workers, must draw away from that part of the world and be the place that is practicing peace. Peace, peace, peace. And we have to touch that peace, because you cannot be involved in the external world and have that which is the peace, which called the peace that passes all understanding, right? You cannot be involved in the world and draw from that place of peace. You need to withdraw from the world, discover that place of peace within ourselves, and then be an avenue through which that peace and that energy is moving from us as we go about our daily activities, whether at work or at play or running errands or wherever, that we have already taken the time to breathe in life, to separate ourselves from the strife of life, so that we can be a place where peace and harmony is moving from us, and therefore from us around us, and then to those people that touch our experience and are part of our world, right? So this withdrawing from the external world is really important, particularly in a time of such strife, because there's also good news. The numbers are changing in this country of the variant where we're going back and forth from this global pandemic, and all of the stuff that got pushed under the carpet is coming up all over, because many people were not used to dealing with themselves for that amount of time. And you see it in relationships. Some people are having challenges in their relationships because it was so long withdrawing from the world and just being with ourselves, that we somehow forgot how then to interact with the world. Yeah. And that's normal. I mean, everybody went through a great deal of stress, and there's still a great deal of stress. Here in this country, schools are all starting, and what's the challenges, and the underage children can't have vaccines, and so there's still answers that are emerging. But again, if we can be the place of peace, good morning. Yes, I am peace. Good morning, good morning. Good morning from Tucson. If we can be the place of peace, then one by one, and then circle upon circle, wheel upon wheel, generation upon generation, we bring that peace into the world instead of that spinning that's happening. So this is our recommendation. We are born to be an instrument, an avenue of unconditional love. If that which is source loves itself, and I emerge from source, then mine is to love myself, and therefore love everything that emerges from source. And that would be, look at the environment, look around me, right? To be aware of the great beauty of nature, to be aware of the great love that your critters may have for you, to be aware of the great love that your family may have, your friends may have, and then be a place where that love is circulating. And that love is unconditional love. It's not love born of demands and expectations. It's I love you because it is my nature to love you. And then when things come up and we become frightened or afraid or nervous, we pull away from that love and we shut down, right? And then we fall into our personal self. So if we can remember that we are born as instruments of love, and that ours is to let as much love flow through us as we are able to, right? The more we learn to practice an unconditional love, a love given freely, without demands, without expectations, without seeking anything in return, the more we can practice that, the clearer our flow becomes, and the more good arises. What looks like good fortune continues to unfold, because there's no limit to the good once we open and be an avenue of that open flow of love. I and you and me and all people are born to be an instrument and an avenue of love. Now, some people are going to go through entire lifetimes without ever realizing that that's really what their purpose is, to be an instrument of love, and through being an instrument of love, freeing that divine spark that is within each of us and allowing it to be what pulls us forward into a greater expression of life. More health, more wealth, more love, more joy, more peace, more poise, more power, more providence, more grace. And we begin to see that we are indeed connected with life and that life is responding to us by corresponding to us. So you can see then, if I am stepping on a hose, if I have a hose and I'm watering myself and I'm stepping on the hose, I'm not going to get a whole lot of water. If I take my foot off the hose, the flow will come all around me. And basically that's what it is with this mechanism that we have called our divine self, this I am that I am. The I am that I am is in the image and likeness of Source itself. And Source itself loves itself. That's why it birthed forth all creation, and that's why it birthed forth you, because you are a place of absolute unconditional love. The source of life itself has unconditional, unlimited love for you. And since you are one with that love, when we become the instrument and avenue through which it is moving, then we begin to see the abundance of the universe, because the hose is open and now flow is happening in and around our lives. To be an instrument of divine flow is to be an instrument of divine love. If we're looking for flow out in the world, we will not see it. We have some friends, our friends in Idaho, just went on a river rafting trip. Now that's got to be a real lesson in flow, right? That if you don't cooperate with that water, you're going to capsize and you're going to get banged on the rocks. You have to go with the flow of the river itself, right? But the river of the one, the river of the cosmos, the unique gift of you to the universe, and therefore the universe gifting you with all of the gifts of the universe, is the flow of divine love moving through us. So to the degree that we are withholding love because of somebody's behavior, because of somebody's point of view, because of somebody's race, creed, color, religion, place of origin, any reason that we step on the hose is limiting ourselves. It's not limiting others, it's limiting ourselves. When we withhold love, we limit ourselves and we limit the good that can come to us. So here's what we remind you. We cancel the demands and expectations that are blocking my attitude of love. In the first person, I cancel the demands and expectations that are blocking my attitude of love. I would prefer that you behave differently. I would prefer that you act differently. I would prefer that you were, whatever your preferences are, we simply see them and we cancel them as a condition of our love. This is the way of forgiveness. Forgiveness is freeing ourselves to be an instrument of that perfect love and that perfect flow. And everyone is entitled to that love and flow. And by the way, there's no limit to that love, and there's no limit to the flow, and there's no limit to the good that can come when we intune ourselves to the river of life, which is the movement of love in, as, and through us. The flow of life is the movement of love. It's nothing to do with the outside world. It has to do with what we're doing with our own energy, with our own heart, and our own attitudes about everything that's taking place in the world. Now, sometimes we're going to be upset. Sometimes we'll trip and fall. Sometimes we'll forget to cancel the expectations. And that's okay, because we're human. And then we forgive ourselves and we decide, I choose to return to love. I choose to be a place of peace. I choose to be a place of harmony. And that's why we have meditation, so that we can still ourselves, so we can feel that presence, so that we can be an instrument of that presence in the world. And then we use our affirmations and our prayers, our affirmative prayers, to direct that energy, to go to the places we want it to go, in health, in wealth, in love, in purpose, in the fulfillment of our lives. And everybody deserves that, and everybody can achieve that, and everybody can do that. But it begins with me, right here, right now. Am I willing to be an instrument of perfect love? And that's how we do it. We just make a decision to withdraw from the world, to find that place where we can open our hearts, and then try to bring that as we go out in the world. The world will tend to cause us to restrict, and then we decide to flow. The world causes us to restrict, and then we decide to flow. And then sooner or later, we start flowing, and the world begins to respond with that flow. And we seem to be touched by a grace, and that's what it is. It is the magic of our inner relationship with our true nature that begins to unfold in our lives as good and more good in every aspect of our lives. You deserve this good. I deserve this good. We deserve this good. You are a place of peace. Find that peace. Practice that peace. Carry that peace. You are an instrument of unconditional love. Let the love go. Let it go. Release the demands and expectations and become an instrument of love. This is what the world needs, and this is candle by candle, one light worker at a time, how we bring more and more and more light and more love and more understanding of the interconnection of all life, unity consciousness, into the world. Who you are is something wonderful. What you are doing by participating with me here, as we are all participating together, as light workers, we are unfolding an awakening world. And we are the instruments, you and I are the instruments through which that is brought into form. So we'll be back next week. Practice this week. Practice being an instrument of unconditional love. Practice being a place of peace. And see if you don't notice that the external events in your world begin to reflect a greater sense of harmony, a greater sense of flow, a greater sense of fortune and synchronicity, and therefore a sense that the universe is conspiring for your good. You deserve that good, and I deserve that good, and we are celebrating that good as light workers in the world. We'll be back next week on Coffee with Casper. We invite you to share this video anywhere you can, and until we meet again, we invite you to go in the light, as the light, and with the light. May the long-time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide you on your way. Bye for now. Casper, come up and say goodbye. Come on. Come on up. Come on. That boy. Yeah, boy. All right. We'll see you next week on Coffee with Casper.